diabolical forces are formidable. These forces are eternal, and they exist today. The fairy tales are true. The devil exists. God exists. And for us as people, our very destiny hinges upon which one we elect to follow. A quote from renowned 20th century American paranormal investigators and authors, Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Am I crazy? Why can't I explain what I saw? I never thought working at a graveyard would have me questioning reality itself. Today was my last day off, so I decided to make the most of it. I decided to do some research. I went to the library and checked out books on the occult, paranormal, poltergeists, possessions, and ghosts, and any other supernatural literature I could find. As I sit back and open up my book, I began reading, "What is paranormal?" The results were as follows.
Paranormal refers to events, phenomena, or experiences that are beyond the scope of normal scientific understanding and cannot be explained by known natural laws.
I turn a few pages and read, "Why do ghosts haunt the living?" The results are as shown.
Ghosts are believed to haunt the living primarily due to unsolved issues, a strong emotional attachment to people or places, or a sudden traumatic death. They may return to convey messages, seek vengeance, fulfill promises, or are simply too fearful or confused to move on to the afterlife.
Before I could sit back and ponder this information, I heard a loud knock at the door. I jumped like an elephant who saw a mouse. I took some deep breaths to calm myself, mentally trying to refocus. I get up to open the door. The knocking continues as I walk towards the door. I open the door and find my brother Benjamin standing there, combing back his long brunette hair, then straightening his blue tie. He stood there, staring at me, waiting for me to invite him in. "Oh, it's just you. What's up, bro? Come on in. Don't mind the mess. I haven't got a chance to clean up yet." My brother shuts the door behind him and looks around my apartment. I could tell he was silently judging me.
Wow. Well, thanks, asshole. No hug, no how you been. You don't call, you don't write. If I ain't know any better, I would have thought you were dead. I haven't seen you in months, and this is how you greet me. And what's with you? You look like you haven't slept in a week. You got dark rings and bags under your eyes, Harry. You all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just, I've been dealing with a lot at work.
Oh shit, I forgot. You're working at that graveyard now, ain't you? Yo, man, you got some balls. Doesn't working around the dead kinda get scary? Cemeteries always did weird me out.
Scary? Trust me, Ben, you don't even know the half of it. I've been working there for a month now. It's one of the worst jobs I've ever worked, Benny. I said after reading a summary about paranormal phenomena.
So if the job sucks so much, why are you still working there?
Because, Ben, the job pays $800 a night. Double if we work overtime. Or cover for someone. I need the money. I'm tired of living in this ghetto slum. I'm tired of this city. I'm tired of the people. I want to leave and never look back. I want to go somewhere with better opportunities. Find a pretty girl, start a family maybe. with this job, I may be able to finally get the money to do that.
Yeah, well, don't work yourself to death. I get you need the money, Harry, but shit, look at what it's doing to you. If I were you, I'd start putting in applications for somewhere that won't work you like a dog.
True. Well, I don't plan on keeping this job much longer. In fact, with as much money as I have saved up, I think I might be able to quit this week. Part of me feels like I should hold on to it for a little longer. However, I think $15,000 should be enough to get me out of here.
Whoa, slow down there, Bruce Wayne. Ain't no way you're getting paid that much in 1 month.
I go to my closet, pull out a suitcase. I bring the suitcase to the table and open it, revealing stacks and stacks of money I have saved. I worked a month with 31 days in it. I work 3 days a week. I get paid $800 a night. You do the math, Benny. Benny's jaw dropped with disbelief and shock.
Bro, you're getting paid more than me, and I'm the one with the degree. Fuck it, I might apply for the position tomorrow. We can work together.
No. Fuck no. Don't do it. My brother gives me a worrisome, troubled expression. You wouldn't like it. Trust me. Besides, I don't think my job is hiring right now. I said while taking a drink of water. I marked the place in my book, and then I looked up at Benny. Hey, Benjamin, can I ask you something?
Sure, what's up?
Do you believe in ghosts or spirits or the paranormal? Benjamin remains silent and shoots me a concerned glare. Well, do you or not?
Of course, I don't fucking believe in ghosts. You serious, Harry? I guess next you're gonna tell me our government's being run by lizard people.
Yeah, fuck you too, Ben.
What? Why am I the bad guy all of a sudden? Oh, don't tell me you actually think that stuff is real. You know what? I think you need to get some more sleep. All that work's finally catching up to you, little bro.
Look, Ben, I know it sounds crazy, but what if there are forces of this world beyond our comprehension? What if there really is an afterlife? What if there's dead people all around us and we just can't see them?
All right. Let's change the subject. Ghosts aren't real, bro. You read all that mumbo-jumbo in books. Has anybody actually proved they exist? No. It's all he said, she said bullshit. And think about it. Any picture can be tweaked nowadays to make it look like something it's not. I mean, technology is getting more advanced now. Pretty soon we won't be able to tell what's real and what's fake.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm just being a little too superstitious.
Anyways, I came to tell you some good news. I went down and auditioned and I got that acting gig. I'm going to be on TV. I'm the main character in the upcoming horror action movie, The Space Eaters, starring Natalie Portman. And guess what? She's going to be my leading lady. That's right. Your brother gets to kiss the most beautiful woman in cinema.
Beautiful? Dude, she's like 44 years old. She's twice our age. And you have to kiss her? Really? Isn't that a bit old for you?
Okay, and age doesn't stop beauty. And the plot's complicated. Don't worry about it. Just know your brother scored big time. Here, pretty soon, we'll all be rich. Then maybe you can become my assistant. Get a real job.
Yeah, right. The day I work for you will be the day zombies rise up.
Okay, well, I better get going. I have rehearsal soon. I don't want to make a bad first impression.
Benjamin got up from his seat, walked over and gave me a hug. We said I love you to each other and as we said our goodbyes. I turned around and I was hit with a feeling of misery, knowing that I was stuck in this broken apartment for the next few hours. I decided it would be best to get some sleep before work tonight. I dozed off and woke up about 6 hours later. I looked at my clock, 11:23. I had to get ready for work soon. I continued to lay on my right side, facing the clock, cuddling up with my covers. I was trying to mentally prepare myself for tonight's shift when suddenly chills ran down my spine as I felt breathing on the back of my neck. Cold, icy breath. I could hear wheezing and slow breathing from behind me. My eyes widened in fear. My heart pounded like a nail getting hammered into a wall. I began to feel cold. A bony hand touched my neck and worked its way down my shoulders and arms. It felt like a woman's touch. However, I lived alone. I hadn't had a girlfriend in 2 years who was on my bed. I could feel long, brittle hair brush against my neck as I heard an elderly woman whisper in my ear.
I have a coffin that's more comfortable. You have plenty of time to sleep once you die. The truth is, we all end up the same, Harry. Dead.
I slowly turned around to see the intruder lying behind me in my bed. It was an old woman wearing a nun's outfit. Her eyeballs were gone, just empty, bloody sockets. She had a big open cut from her temple, from her forehead to the top of her skull. Her face was charred black. Her skin was peeling off. Smoke could be seen leaving her face and rising into the air, and blood trickled down her forehead onto my bed, soaking the bed sheets and the pillows in blood. Judging by the mess, it looked like she had been lying next to me for hours. Some of her teeth were missing, while others were cracked or broken.
Come join us, Harry. You will be at peace. No more worries of the living. Come to us, Harry. Come to us, Harry. We are waiting. Come. Come.
I jumped out of bed screaming and ran to the light switch. When I turned the light on, the nun was gone, along with the blood and the mess. I turned the light off like a dumbass. Then again, just to see if I noticed any differences. Nothing. My bed looked completely normal. No nun. No blood. Just me. Alone. I looked at the clock again. It was 11:34. Fuck! I'm going to be late for work. I rushed to put on my clothes, almost tripping and falling while trying to put on my pants. I put on the rest of my clothes, made a quick sandwich, and packed some water. Then I headed out the door. It was time to work. The graveyard shift. 30 minutes later, I pocketed my car keys and opened the cemetery gates to enter inside. I took 8 steps forward before hearing a young voice from the far northeast side of the cemetery.
Tonight, on Unknown Inspections, we gather here today at the famously haunted Cavalry Cemetery. I'm your host, Damien Dedson, and with me are my partners, Lee, my cameraman, Kim, my sister, and the one responsible for all our crisp, beautiful audio, my homie Tucker. Now, we're going to explore the cemetery tonight and see if the rumors are true. We will then...
I heard the teenagers get quiet as I got closer. I closed in on them before they could run away. Hey, what the fuck do you guys think you're doing? Nobody is allowed on these premises after visiting hours. The host of the little show was a kid who looked about 17. He had long, whitish blonde hair with a gothic look to him. Spiked bracelets, leather jacket, a rock band t-shirt, black Timberland boots, and a gold necklace. He had brown eyes just like his sister. Maybe because they was twins? The rest of them looked around his age.
Oh, hey, mister. You must work here. My name is Damien, and this is my sister Kim, and this is my cameraman Lee, and my...
Yeah. I'm Harry. Nice to meet you. I heard you from the gates. You guys need to fucking leave now. You are trespassing on our property right now. The young teenage girl with them, Kim, had longer blonde spiked hair than her brother. She was wearing ripped black jeans, a spiked leather jacket, and a rock band t-shirt with the words Death Punch on it. Long black boots. She had a button nose and brown eyes. She had the same gothic appearance like her brother, but with black lipstick and black eyeliner.
Hi, mister. We're filming a TV show. The whole point of our show is that we explore places allegedly haunted. Could we please film a tiny bit of the graveyard, sir? Please, sir, please. It would really help out our show.
No, I don't give a shit if it helps with your exams. You can't be here. The fucking show's been canceled. Now please leave. I was pointing to the gates when suddenly I heard the graveyard bells ring. Oh shit, I said to myself. Then I heard someone whisper my name.
Hey, Harry.
I turned around, but nobody was there. I hear footsteps from behind me. I turned back around, and the teens were running away.
Hurry up! Come on, guys!
They were going deeper into the cemetery, heading towards the North Break facility, gradually disappearing into the fog as they got further and further away. Hey, no! Come back! I started chasing after them when suddenly I tripped and fell. I tumbled into the walkway of a row of tombstones, all old and new. Thank goodness I didn't land on one this time. I noticed a tall tombstone with a cross and angels on it. Very tall. Goddamn kids. I got up, dusting dirt off of me. Suddenly, I saw bright orbs all around me. The orbs swarmed away into the fog of the cemetery, slowly disappearing as they did. Tonight's already not starting out too well. I said to myself as I made my way north through the cemetery, the same direction the kids had run, hoping to catch them before they got into trouble. I have to find these kids before they get hurt. Running through the north side of the cemetery, I couldn't see anything past the fog. I tried to look through the graveyard fog, but it was so thick and heavy that it was impossible to see anything else ahead. I began looking everywhere. Nobody, just the tombstones, all shapes and sizes. I ran to the break facility. I looked around. Nothing. Wait. I smelled tobacco smoke. The grave bells rang loudly behind me. I entered the break area and looked around. I didn't see anyone at first. I checked everywhere I could think of, specifically the break room. Nothing but a small dinner table, some paper plates, and plastic utensils. Part of me expected the shelves and cabinets to fly open like the last time. However, they didn't. Everything remained still. When suddenly, I heard a scream from upstairs. It must be that teenage girl who was with them. I ran to the sound as quickly as my feet would carry me. I dashed up the stairwell, following the sound of the scream. It was coming from far down the hall on the left. I turned on my flashlight and ran into the darkness, screaming for the teen. Kim! Hello!
Help me! Help me!
A frightened girl screamed from behind the door. I rushed to the door. It was locked. I wiggled the doorknob, trying to force it open. I slammed my shoulder into the door, trying to break it down. Open the door! Using all my upper body strength and acting as a human battering ram, I broke through. I saw Kim on the floor, screaming, with a burning child hovering above her, giggling and smiling as she reached down for her. I recognized the 8-year-old child from before. It was little Bruce. His face was all cut up, his eyes still completely white and almost glowing now. His hair was slowly falling off his head from the flames, his skin peeling away. The smell of his burned flesh filled the air. His long, ripped overalls and plaid long-sleeve shirt were burning with him. He reached for the girl. Kim was screaming her head off, shaking in fear. I tried my hardest to remain calm. Bruce, no! Bruce turned quickly to face me, the room growing hotter and hotter. Smoke began to form. Bruce hissed at me. Bruce, please, go play somewhere else. Don't hurt her, Brucey. You're a good kid. I know you are. It burns! Bruce yelled before flying towards me with his hands out. I ducked down quickly, dodging out of the way. The flaming child flew over me and out of the room, leaving a smoke trail behind him. His giggles turned into crying as he floated down the hallway, slowly fading away. I ran over to Kim and made sure she was all right. I checked her for injuries, then helped her onto her feet. She was crying and gasping for air. She was shaking like a wet chihuahua. She seemed very, very shaken up, and understandably so. I tried to calm her down. In a soothing voice, I asked her where the others were.
I don't know. We got separated running from a tall clown man who snapped his bones and began crawling at us like a spider. He was screaming like a banshee. Me and Tucker ran in here, but then we heard old music playing from the break room. That's when I saw that kid. He exited the break room, and then he started laughing at us as he lit himself on fire and began running towards us. I ran upstairs, and I think Tucker ran back outside. I panicked. I wasn't thinking straight, and I ran up here.
Look, we need to get you guys out of here now. There's something wrong with this cemetery. Grabbing her hand and leading her out of the room and down the dark hallway.
So then the rumors are true? The cemetery really is haunted?
I smelled a strange aroma, overtaking the air. The smell of tobacco smoke assaulted my nostrils. I heard a man whistling a tune as we got closer and closer to downstairs. I could see rose petals lying all over the floor. I heard a man singing along to a song playing on the radio from the break room. The man was singing,
Life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love, life could be a dream, sweetheart.
Please tell me that's your coworker.
I'm afraid not. I don't even think he's supposed to work tonight. And that's not Randy's voice. Also, we don't have a radio in the break room. Kim was shaking and still crying as we slowly made our way to the exit. The deep voice singing got louder, as did the radio playing the song. I go to turn the doorknob and walk outside when suddenly...
Hey, Harry! Come here, Harry!
I hear Joe calling me in the break room. Joe, what are you doing here? I began to step forward until Kim pulled me back, saying,
Don't go. I have a bad feeling. I think it's a trap.
I nodded my head in agreement, then turned and shouted, Sorry, I have to go back to work. Suddenly, the radio stopped. So did the man singing. I heard footsteps and a tall skeleton stepped out from the break room. He had no flesh, no organs, no skin. Just black, empty eye sockets. Nothing but bones. I was looking at a walking skeleton dressed in a black tuxedo suit with a black bow tie. The skeleton man was holding a cigarette, and the skeleton man spoke to me and said,
Want a cigarette, Harry? Oh, shit, I forgot. Smoking kills.
The skeleton flicked his cigarette at Kim and I, and the fire erupted from the ground like a volcano, and it was coming towards us. I turned around and opened the door. Both Kim and I ran outside, screaming like maniacs. I felt a hot rush from behind us as we ducked and fell to the ground. We have to find your brother and the others now. I helped Kim onto her feet. Suddenly, we heard screaming coming from the south of the graveyard. It sounded like one of the teenage boys. Kim and I ran towards the direction of the screaming. The fog was so thick tonight. I had to hold my hand out to make sure I wasn't going to run into anything.
Help! Someone help!
We finally saw the person in distress. It was Damien. We ran closer to catch up with him. We helped him get to his feet. He was panicked, fighting and resisting our help. I tried to calm him down, but he kept yelling.
Get the fuck off me! I don't want to die! No! No!
Damien was screaming, terrified and delirious. Hey, Damien, it's us. It's me, Harry and your sister. I was shaking the boy aggressively, trying to snap him back to reality. Damien opened his eyes and looked around, trying to catch his breath. He snatched away from me.
The kids, their heads, their craniums was caved in. Their eyes were black. They had no eyes. They were trying to...
I looked around, but I didn't see the children he was referring to. Damien, damn it, boy, where are the others? I was getting frustrated and scared at the same time.
At the chapel, I saw them take them. The ghost fucking took them to the big chapel up on the hill. Oh, shit. No, fuck them. We're going to die, man. They want to kill us.
Damien, what chapel? There is no fucking chapel around here. With shaky hands, Damien pointed off to the northwest, outside of the cemetery. I followed his finger with my eyes. I saw a large chapel sitting on a tall, grassy hill. The moon shone brightly above it, illuminating the roof. There were dead trees on the land all around it. The church had all the lights on, like a ceremony was being held.
I'm gonna take a guess and say that wasn't there before.
No, it wasn't. I've been working here for a month, and I've never seen the chapel around here. Look, you guys need to get out of here. I'll get your friends, but it's not safe for you to come. I can't risk anything happening to you two. Come on, we have to exit through the front gate. I escorted the teens to the gate, looking around nervously. The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife, when suddenly, the graveyard bells rang loudly. I heard fast footsteps coming from behind me, and I turned quickly. I saw a big, burly, muscular football player. He shouted and hollered in a cheery voice, saying,
Yeah! Kill motherfuckers! Kill motherfuckers! Sharks! What's up, best brass? Leave them face first in the grass with sharks! Sharks will own your ass!
It was definitely a football player. He had on a silver and gold helmet with a shark on both sides. His face could not be seen inside the helmet. The inside of the helmet was dark. Only one thing could be seen inside: glowing red eyes. The helmet seemed very durable, with moss growing on the right side. He had rugged shoulder pads and a jersey with the number 99, along with dirty, padded pants, thighs, knee pads with patches of grass stuck on them. He was running directly at me, his glowing red eyes in the helmet, staring at me menacingly. I turned to the teenagers. Run for the front gate!
Down! Set!
Yelled the dead football player as he charged forward toward us with much speed and determination. We all screamed as we ran for our freedom, vaulting over tombstones. When I turned back to look, I could see our pursuer getting closer, moving like a freight train, his cleats tearing away the grass as he progressed forward. Run! Keep running! When suddenly I got tackled. I fell to the ground with a heavy thud. It knocked the wind out of me on impact. I looked up and saw the gates 13 steps away. The teens ran through the gate, encouraging me to get up. I got up and began limping towards the front gate. I was still trying to recover my breath from the fall.
Yeah! Touchdown!
The football player yelled as he readied himself to charge me again. I limped as quick as I could. I was still winded from the first tackle, but before I knew it, I got tackled again. This time, the football player gets on top of me, yelling,
Now I'm gonna make a football out of your head, Harry!
He starts punching me in the face, repeatedly, over and over until I start bleeding. I tried to dig in my pocket as I was getting beat up. I pull out the cross necklace my mother gave me, but before I could raise my hand, I get punched in the jaw. My vision goes hazy. Another punch connects to my face. My face was sore, feeling like it was gonna bust. With what little strength I had, I raised the cross with my hand, pointing it towards the spirit. How about you set this game out? I put the cross in front of his helmet. In the darkness of the helmet, I could see his glowing red eyes looking down in fear. He immediately got off of me and backed away as smoke emitted from his body, as if he were being cooked from inside. He cried out in pain. I used this opportunity to get away. I picked myself up and ran for the front gates. Then the ghostly football player aimed his football at me. Kim screamed. I ducked down as the flaming football flew over me and into the fog. I sprinted like an athlete towards the front gate, relying on old sports skills of my own. I finally made it to the gate. I shut the cemetery gate behind me. Okay. Got to get to the chapel. It seems I have to leave the cemetery and go up that hillside, I thought to myself. I began to walk off until I heard Damien shout at me.
Hey, hold up!
I turned around, giving him an interested glare.
What if something happens to you?
I looked that boy in the eyes and I told him, "Pray for me." I made my way running through the darkness, climbing up the steep hill, stopping every now and then to catch my breath. Looking through the darkness with my flashlight, I tried to adjust my eyesight. I have to find those teenagers before something bad happens to them, I thought to myself. I ran faster, shifting and slipping with each step, keeping the chapel in sight, going up the hillside until I got closer and closer, finally making it to the top. I saw the chapel. It was right in front of me now. I tried to catch my breath as I walked towards the door. From inside, I could hear voices singing in unison like a choir. Then the singing stopped, and a loud, deep voice could be heard saying,
"We are gathered here today in memory of our dear friends, Lee M. Gumby and Tucker B. Willem. When we heard that they were no more, we were shocked and saddened. Death has taken away genuinely warm individuals. More importantly, a loving brother and brilliant mind. Death has once again deprived so many others, including us all, of a good friend. While we mourn the loss of these young souls, we pay tribute and celebrate a life that...
I used my upper body strength to force the door open. My heart dropped to my stomach. Horror engulfed my body. My eyes widened in terror at what was in front of me. This just wasn't any ceremony. This was a funeral. There were 2 coffins. One had a teenager, Tucker, in it, and the other coffin had Lee. Both of them were deceased. They lay in the coffins with their arms crossed, eyelids shut, skin pale as snow. The graveyard bells began to ring. There was a headless man in a suit and tie playing the piano on the left side of the door. Once I noticed him, he looked at me and then said,
Yo, what's good, player? You ain't from around here, is you? It's aight. We've been dying to meet you.
I looked around the chapel. There were decayed people all around me. These were wedding couples who looked like they just got hitched. The bride was missing her lower jaw, her eyes hollow and blackened. The groom had a hole where his heart should have been, and dry blood covered his mouth, his black eyes staring back at me with hate. The one who was giving the speech was a skinny, short man who looked no taller than 4 feet. He too was missing both eyes. His eye sockets were black. His teeth were sharp. He had on a church hat and a black suit and tie, long white hair, and he was missing his nose. Half of his face was hanging off, showing tendon flesh and bones. There were dead, disfigured, or mutilated people all around me. They began to stand up in their seats. They all turned to face me, the bride and groom most notably. They all began to walk toward me as I slowly backed away. The ghostly groom pointed his fingers at me and shouted,
Do you believe in ghosts now, Harry? The living don't belong with the dead. Join us, Harry. Join us.
All of the dead souls inside the chapel began to run towards me, with their arms and hands reaching out for me. The graveyard bells rang once again. I turned and ran down the hill. I could hear the screams and hollers of the dead women, men, and children, all in unison as they chased after me. I tripped and fell. I looked up and saw a crowd of ghosts running closer and closer, quickly closing in on me. I held up my hands in defense, screaming, Okay, I believe. I fucking believe ghosts are real. Panicking and scrambling to get back to my feet, I felt a hand push me back onto the ground. I looked up. It was Randy standing over me. He looked at the crowd of ghosts now gathered around us. Old Man Randy slammed his shovel down on the ground. He opened his mouth and shouted these words.
In the name of Jesus, I rebuke you all. I reject and renounce all evil. I get cursing.
Thunder shook the skies. All the spirits around us put their hands over their ears and screamed. They all disappeared. Some ran, some flew, some floated away, while others crossed their arms over their chest and levitated into the ground. I watched as all the ghosts slowly disappeared. Randall helps me back to my feet. I look at him in shock and say, "Well, if I knew Bible verses were all it took, I would have been studying the book a lot more."
It wouldn't have worked for you. You see, the true power isn't in the words, Harry. It's in the heart.
Where did you come from, Randy? I thought you didn't have to work tonight. I watched the old man light a cigarette, then inhale.
I reckon you might have needed help, so I stopped by to say hello. Come with me, Harry. There's something I want to show you.
Randy and I started walking back to the cemetery. Randy leaves a smoke trail as he walks towards the cemetery with his shovel over his shoulders. I turned around to take one last look at the chapel, but it was gone. It had disappeared in thin air. I followed Randy back to the graveyard. I feel so guilty, Randy. I couldn't save them in time. I tried. They had a funeral for them. Randy, does that mean? Oh, fuck. I can't even think right now. We stopped at a row of tombstones. One tombstone stood out among the rest. Randy walked over and stood over it, examining it, while smoking his cigarette. The tombstone was tall, made of solid rock, and had a cross on it with angels on the side.
You tried. That's what's important, kid. My father always used to tell me, it's better to do what you can than do nothing at all.
Randy, I have to know the truth. What is wrong with this graveyard?
So you finally asked the big question, huh? Well, unfortunately, that's an answer even I don't know. The Calvary Cemetery has been around for centuries, before you and I were both even born. Some say this graveyard was built over an Indian burial ground. Most people think the soil itself is cursed. Magic cast by a witch who wanted to talk to the dead. Every night, once 12 o'clock hits and any time passed, the graveyard bells ring and the dead souls rise up from their graves, awoken from their long slumber. Others believe after midnight, an invisible portal opens connecting the world of the undead with the world of the living. But the exact cause of the portal is unknown.
What do you believe, Randy?
Who knows? It's probably all three. The dead are all around us, Harry. Some buried, some still roaming the earth. Some of them are actually closer than you would think.
I looked down at my watch. It's already 3:09. How did time pass by so fast? I remembered Randy wanted to show me something, but when I looked back up at Randy, he was gone. Randy! 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 Where did you go? Looking around the fog, but I couldn't see him. I walked over to where Randy had been standing and looked up at the huge tombstone with the cross towering over me. Out of curiosity, I looked down at the tombstone's epitaph, thinking to myself, who could be so special as to deserve a tombstone as big as this one? My stomach dropped. The epitaph read this: Here rest Randall J. Frost, loving husband and father, brother and grandfather and great-grandfather. His words of wisdom helped many along their journeys. Remember me as you pass by, as you are now. So once was I, as I am now, so you shall be. Prepare for death and follow me. Rest in peace forever. You will be dearly missed. Randy J. Frost. Holy fucking shit. No goddamn way. I started backing away, slowly in disbelief. Suddenly, I heard a voice in my ear say,
You're a good man, Harry. Now live a good life. We only get one chance.
I finished my shift and clocked out. When I got home, I didn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. Not after last night. Later that day, on my way back from the grocery store, I saw the twins again, Damien and Kim. They were waiting at the bus stop nearby. They were happy to see me. I was happy to see them in one piece and doing okay as well. I apologized to them about their friends. I told them I hoped they found peace. However, when I said this, they gave me a confused look and asked,
What?
What friends?
You know, Lee and Tucker? The cameraman and the sound guy for your show?
We don't know a Lee and Tucker.
Damien said, scratching his head. What? What do you mean you don't know them? We were all there together last night. Stop messing with me, kid.
We're being serious, Mr. Harry. We don't know a Lee or Tucker. In fact, we never did. I don't think. It's always just been me and Damien filming by ourselves.
Kim said, exchanging a confused and curious looks with her brother. Holy shit. It's like they never existed. Could that funeral at the cemetery have something to do with it? It's as if they were wiped from existence. Okay. Well, I have to get going. I gotta call my boss. Have a good day, guys. Stay in school. Stay safe. And most importantly, stay out of trouble. That includes graveyards. The teenagers shudder upon hearing this, as if briefly remembering something in a nightmare they went through the night before.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
We waved goodbye to each other, and then I headed back to my apartment to call Joe. Hey, Joe, it's me, Harry. Listen, Before I could finish, Joe interrupted me, saying,
Let me guess, you're quitting?
Well, yeah. How did you know? I'm very sorry, Joe. It's just...
Say less, Harry. I talked to Randy. He told me everything. I'm sorry things went left last night. Don't worry about it. People come and go all the time. Randy can handle things until we find somebody else. I know last night was hectic, so I left you $1,000 bonus on your check. I wish you the best, Harry. I appreciate all your help. I must say, you're the only person who ever worked for us this long. I hate to see you leave, but I understand. Have a good day, and good night, Harry. Good luck on your move out of the city.
Wait, how did you... Before my question could be answered, Joe hung up on me. That was the last I ever heard of Joe. 2 months later, I packed my bags and prepared to leave the city. Time for new beginnings. My brother drove the U-Haul truck while I drove my own car. We passed the cemetery on our way out of the city. I'll never forget it. I saw Tucker and Lee standing behind the cemetery gates, waving goodbye to me.